תבל בצדק ועמים במישרים ירם הים ומלואו תבל ויושביו נהרות ימחאו כף יחד הרים ירננו.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So good to see all of you this evening. Welcome to our Zoom service, as we have been doing these past many months at Congregation Shereth Israel. I'm Rabbi Abby Phelps. I'm joined this evening by our wonderful Cantor Toby Glaser and our wonderful music director, Jonathan Dimmock. We'll begin our service by lighting our Shabbat candles. And we have a family to honor with that this evening. Yes, it's already been anticipated in the chat. We want to invite Jacob Greenspan Barrett and his family to light those candles for us. There they are. We got everybody, even the dog. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So is there anything we should know about these candlesticks? And I apologize if you told us this already the last time we had you, which was, I believe, when Jacob was actually supposed to have become bar mitzvah. But I figure we may have a different crowd this evening. So if there's a story, please feel free to tell us.
Your grandmothers, they were your grandmothers, weren't they? Yes, they were Ben's grandmother's Shabbat candlesticks.
Beautiful. And of course, Jacob, you are going to be lighting them this evening because what's happening tomorrow?
My bar mitzvah's tomorrow. After
That is right.
delayed anticipation and then more anticipation because we had to move it. But
Yes, and everyone who is on this Zoom is most welcome to join us tomorrow if you're able to. The link should have gone out in our email today. So please come celebrate Jacob with us tomorrow if you can. And thank you for coming to be part of it this evening. So I invite you guys to go right ahead and light those candles whenever you're ready. All right, and will you be leading the blessing or would you like the cantor to?
Let's have the cantor do it.
yeah.
All right, Cantor Glaser, if you would lead the blessing, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
Beautiful. We continue now with our song in which we imagine ourselves going out into the fields, out into the wilderness, and welcoming Shabbat in the form of our beloved to come and join us. Please join us in singing Lecha Dodi.
Yadai dai 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 מיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד השם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה הנה שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת תחו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה בראש מקדם נסוך הסוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בלד גם בשמחה ובצחולת תוך אמונך עם סגולה בואי חלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה יי די 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 יי די 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 די
We now invite you to rise as able and to join us in the prayer in which we formally become one prayer community together, the Baruch Hu. Now, as we prepare to recite the Shema, we can take a moment to breathe deeply, to try to put aside all the worries and the craziness and the stress of the week that we've just been through, and open up our minds and our ears to listen to everything that's around us, to the sounds that are within us, the voice of God calling out to us. Please join us for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam ha'ed.
And now if we could spotlight Jacob Greenspan Barrett, that's a mouthful once again, he is going to lead us in the Ve'ahavta. So as soon as we have him on camera once again, let me see, here we go. So Jacob, please feel free to lead us.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל נפשך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי נצווך היום על לבניך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשיטתך ובביתך ובלכתך לדרת, ובשבתך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתרתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר יוצא אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Yasher koach, Jacob. Beautifully done. Now everybody knows what they have to look forward to when they get to hear you chanting tomorrow. And now we take a moment to remember that ancient scene in which we were finally set free from our slavery in Egypt. We crossed the Sea of Reeds. We looked out on the wilderness and knew that we could approach the world as free people. Please join us for recalling that moment with our Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקר
brand new Cantor, so it's nice. כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
In this time when shelter continues to be so critical for all of us, it's especially meaningful to give thanks, as we do every Shabbat, for the shelter of peace, the sukkah of shalom that we all experience over our heads, both within our own homes and also within the world, provided by God, who brings us peace throughout the week and especially on Shabbat. Please join us in Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, להעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We now come to the center point of our service, the Amidah, the standing prayer, in which we can express to God our deepest wishes and our deepest hopes. We invite you to please rise as able and join us for Adonai Sefatai.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We now take a moment for silent prayer, underscored by the beautiful music of our music director, Jonathan Dimmock, and we will come out of silence with Oseh Shalom after we have had time for our prayers.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעל יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
As we celebrate Shabbat this evening, we also mark the end of another special day on the Jewish calendar. Rosh Chodesh Elul, the first day of the month that precedes the High Holy Days. The month of Elul is a time for introspection, self-assessment, and repentance. It affords an opportunity for us to judge and improve ourselves before we must submit to God's judgment on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. You may know that we are supposed to begin each day in Elul up until the day before Rosh Hashanah by hearing the shofar sounded. The shofar is meant to call us to attention. Although we may not all have access to shofarot or shofar blowers in our homes this year, we can bypass the ritual and skip straight to beginning our days with attention to our flaws, our opportunities to grow, and the needs of those around us, as well as the intention to do better. We can find some guidance for our process in this week's Parsha, Shoftim. The Parsha takes its name from its first instruction. Shoftim v'shotrim, judges and enforcers shall you set up for yourself in all your gates that Adonai your God is giving you. The Parsha continues, you shall not pervert justice, you shall not show favoritism, and you shall not take a bribe, for bribery blinds the eyes of the wise and perverts just words. Tzedek, tzedek tirdof. Justice, justice shall you pursue, that you may live and inherit the land Adonai your God is giving you. It is clear from our Parsha that judgment and enforcement are both essential and dangerous. We need them in order to resolve disputes and keep society functioning smoothly. But we must wield them very carefully, lest they devolve into corruption and tyranny. Attuned to this concern, the medieval commentator Rashi elaborates that we must appoint judges who are expert and righteous so that they will judge justly. Reflecting on Parshat Shoftim this year, a question occurred to me. If judgment is such a skilled activity, something we must be very careful to entrust only to the most expert and righteous among us, then why do we all do it all the time? I have to admit that I find myself spending quite a lot of time judging. Sometimes myself, but often other people, and not always with the utmost righteousness or expertise. Parshat Shoftim forces me to ask, who am I to judge? On this reading of the Parsha, the instructions to judges are not particularly useful to the majority of us, except as reminders of how difficult it is to render judgment justly. However, there is another way of reading the Parsha that makes it more immediately relevant and accessible to each of us. Recall that the Parsha instructs us to set up judges and officers at all of our gates that Adonai, our God, has given us. The earliest known Jewish mystical text, the Sefer Yetzirah, or Book of Formation, teaches that the human body has 7 gates: 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and a mouth, through which we perceive by our senses. Perhaps it is these gates at which Parshat Shoftim is instructing us to station judges, both in terms of what we take in through our senses and what we put out into the world. The 17th century rabbi and mystic Yeshayahu ben Avraham Horowitz wrote that man has to guard these openings with extreme care. This care extends to what he sees with his eyes, what he hears with his ears, what he says with his mouth, and the anger that he lets escape from his nostrils. In short, these are the she'arim, the gates of the body, that man must watch over like a judge and a law enforcement officer. This is the reason the Torah added the words titan lecha, place for yourself, in the opening verse of our portion. This reading of our Parsha restores to each of us the right and the duty to judge, but only to judge ourselves. We must judge our own perceptions, looking out for bias and blind spots, continually asking what we might be missing. And we must judge our responses, including our own judgments, before giving voice to them. The Baal Shem Tov taught that when we look at our fellow, what we are really seeing is a mirror. Should you gaze into a mirror and see a blemish, he said, it is your own imperfection that you are seeing. When we find ourselves judging others during this month of Elul, let us take that as our cue to look inward, to ask whether we might possess the very flaw we see in our fellow. And rather than speaking out against our fellow, let us channel our energy into perfecting ourselves. The good news about God's judgment is that it is tempered by mercy. Our tradition teaches that on the high holy days, God allows rachamim, mercy or compassion, to take precedence over deen, strict judgment. So even if, despite our best efforts, we fail in the next month to subject ourselves to sufficient scrutiny, or to seek forgiveness from all those whom we may have hurt, we have reason to hope that when the days of awe arrive, God's rachamim will prevail, and we will still be written into the book of life. Given that we can be secure in the knowledge that God will treat us with rachamim, with mercy, I would suggest that we can afford to use some deen, strict judgment, on ourselves. May we take this month of Elul to look honestly, thoroughly, and unsparingly at ourselves and our mistakes, and may we strive to emulate God in reserving our rachamim for those around us. Shabbat Shalom. When we come together on Shabbat, we always take time to think of those in our community who are in need of healing, of mind, body, and spirit. We think this evening particularly of Shoshana Chana Asher, Dr. Elliot Eisenberg, William Kurian, and Lenore Levin. And we add to those names any names that you hold in your hearts this evening or that you wish to share in the chat. Please join us in wishing healing to these and to all those who need it with Misha Berach.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
When we come together on a Shabbat evening, we also have the opportunity to celebrate one another's simchas, the great joys that are occurring in our lives. Of course, one of the big simchas we have to celebrate this evening is it being the eve of Jacob's bar mitzvah. We're so excited that we'll get to thoroughly celebrate it with him tomorrow morning. I also know we have a number of birthdays happening in the congregation. I know of at least one, but I'm going to save it for later because we may be featuring that person a little bit later on. But if anyone else has any simchas to add, anything which they wish to celebrate tonight, please feel free to put it in the chat, or Cantor Glaser or Gordon, if you know of anything we should be announcing, please feel free to jump in. All right, and if not, then we will celebrate those simchas that I've mentioned and all the other ones that we're enjoying in this community with a Shehechianu, a prayer thanking God for helping us to arrive at this time. Please join us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and every nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We think this evening especially of Diane Byrne, sister of Evelyn Manes, whom we sadly lost today. If you are within the first 7 or 30 days of mourning for a loved one within Shiva or Shloshim, please rise at this time and share your loved one's name. The perpetual memorials in our community are Judith M. Escalante Melvin, Mara Powell, and Art Rosenberg. If you are in the first year of mourning for a loved one, please rise and share their name with us now. We observe the following yahrzeits this evening. Please rise as your loved one's name is said. Leo Bernstein, Arthur B. Brower, Barbara Diamond, Ann Dimmock, Rose Gerber, Lillian Kronberg, Harry Liss, Michael Loring, Ari McGuire, Jack Schoen, Archie Schwartz, Ruth Silverstein, Gertrude Sladnick, Eleanor Sloss, and Herman Spivak. And if you're observing the yahrzeit of someone whose name I have not read, please rise and share that name at this time. Now we rise together as one prayer community to comfort one another in our grief and to recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shmeid kudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And we say, Amen. At this time, we offer announcements. So, Gordon, our wonderful executive director, do you have any announcements you'd like to share with us this evening?
I do, as a matter of fact. A couple of things. One is our Slichot series starts next week, and you can find information about that in Under the Dome or on our website. It'll be a lovely series of Wednesday events featuring, in no particular order, Jonathan Dimmock, Tobias Glaser, and Maurice Kamens. And it'll be a musical tour through the month of Elul. So join us for that. Secondly, High Holiday registration is now open. And you may say to yourself, but I'm a member. Why do I need to register? Well, it turns out we may not have the best email address for you. And we would like to email you the link where the High Holiday videos will be, because we can't just tell you to come down to the building. So please do follow those links. You will find them on our High Holiday page. And also there are links in Under the Dome. Finally, we're going to have an oneg tonight. Now, we didn't tell anybody about this, so you're going to have to rustle around in your kitchen to find something to drink and eat. But we're going to paste the link in the chat. You'll click that, and you will find yourself in a new place with all of your friends. So I hope you'll join us in this little bit of an experiment. It's a new platform that we're using. It's not Zoom, it's something else. And we look forward to your participation. And with that, Rabbi, I toss it back to you.
I'm not sure there is anything in the universe besides Zoom, but I guess I'll have to take it from you that there is. Yes, please join us for that if you can. And of course, if you can join me for Torah study tomorrow morning, please do that. And one more time, if you can make it to Jacob's bar mitzvah tomorrow, we would love to see you there. So please feel free to come along for that as well. Well, we now wish to feature somebody in our community who I know is experiencing a simcha. Today is Roz Tolson's birthday. So we wanted to invite Roz and Greg Tolson to go ahead and show off their Kiddush cup for us. Ah, there they are. So Roz, go ahead and tell us anything you'd like to about your Kiddush cup.
Okay, well, this Kiddush cup came to us from some friends who we met 50 years ago, and Greg can tell you about that. It was for Zach's bar mitzvah, so we've had this for almost, let's see, he's almost 43, so almost 30 years. And coincidentally, I spoke to the people this morning. She called to wish me a happy birthday. So we've used this for Zach's bar mitzvah and for the baby naming for both of their kids, for Jacob and Liam. Oh, and Greg will tell you how we met this couple because it's cute.
In the late 60s, I had just come back from my first trip from Israel and lived in the marina, not far from where Rabbi Abby lives. And it was a small apartment, and I kept getting awakened by some clomping noise in the next apartment. Finally, after a while, I knocked on the door, met the people in the hall. What is this noise coming from your apartment? The woman wore Dutch clog shoes, which woke me every morning, and we became good friends. They're still friends with them, and they gave us the cup.
Yep.
Did you find out why the clogs?
I don't know.
They were the style 50 years ago.
Okay.
Or more than 50. Anyway, they are not Jewish, and they are religious Christians, and she always was very thrilled that we were making sure that Zach had a good Jewish education. And when he had his bar mitzvah, they did not come. They lived in Kentucky, and they sent this beautiful Kiddush cup, which I will turn over to the grandchildren. God willing, they'll have bar mitzvahs.
Oh, that's wonderful.
There we go. We have our Mogan David in here.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Oh, well, good. That's what you need. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. Happy birthday, Roz.
Thank you.
Would you like to lead us in Kiddush, or should the Cantor lead us? Either is fine.
If you want everybody to lead Zoom, I can lead it. So I suggest the Cantor does.
All right. Well, in that case, Cantor Glaser, would you please lead us in Kiddush?
I shall. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, באותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Shabbat shalom. Happy birthday, Roz.
And now, if you have a challah, we would love to see it. So please feel free to raise your chalot up high out there in Zoom land so we can all check them out. I see many people would be, yes, I see a beautiful challah there. I see a number of beautiful chalot. Look at this. Thank you, Frida. Beautiful. So please hold up those chalot, and Cantor Glaser, if you would please lead us in the motzi.
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
B'te'avon. Everybody enjoy your chalot. I know it's a little bit of a disappointment not to have the Barbie challah this week, but I imagine it will be back with Rabbi Graf next week. So in the meantime, enjoy your regular human-sized chalot. And also, I want to take just a moment to thank everybody who participated in the service this evening. Thank you, Cantor Glaser. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Peter Bonos, who is behind the scenes making all of this work, and Gordon Gladstone. And it looks like maybe Cantor Glaser wants to add something, so I'm going to go ahead and let him do that.
No, I was just, I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned Peter, and you did. I can't turn the computer around because it's
Thank you,
stuck
I'm
to the
here.
table. He's there.
I'm on a mic.
He is the voice, the voiceless, the voice in the room. But thank you so much, and again to Jonathan, as always, for a joyous Shabbat experience.
Yes, we appreciate all of you, and especially folks like Peter who are working incredibly hard for no recognition unless we do this recognizing. So thank you so much. And before we bid everyone a Shabbat Shalom and invite you to head off to the Oneg space, which I hope you will all get a chance to check out, we're going to close with a little music. So Cantor Glaser, please lead us. Shabbat Shalom.